You're in front of a guy you're into. Maybe it's date number 3. Maybe it's been weeks. Things should feel good, but instead there's a storm inside your head that says something like this. Did I say something wrong? Why did his energy shift just now? Is he pulling away? And am I about to get hurt again? And just like that, you're no longer present. Instead of enjoying the moment, you're scanning for signs, second guessing yourself, and trying to manage his perception of you. This isn't just in your head, it's in your entire nervous system. Every time you get closer, the fear gets louder. Every time it feels good, your body tenses, bracing for the day he finally goes away. But here is the truth. This isn't you, this isn't your intuition, this is the love saboteur, the voice in your mind that thinks it's protecting you, but it's actually blocking you from connection. It hijacks attraction, kills confidence, and convinces you to self-sabotage before love even has a chance to unfold. But today, I'm going to show you how to disarm this silent enemy so it loses its grip on you and you can finally show up in relationships and dating calm, present, and fully owning your worth. Not with fluffy affirmations, not with toxic positivity, but with neuroscience-backed shifts that rewire the way you see yourself and how men experience you in real time. Because when you silence the love saboteur, something powerful happens. Your presence changes, your energy shifts, and men respond to you differently. That's exactly what we're uncovering in this video today, why this voice shows up, how it keeps you stuck, and the exact steps to break free so love no longer feels like something you have to protect yourself from. Have you ever walked into a date and before you even sit down, a voice in your head whispers, "This isn't gonna work"? Or maybe a guy you're into takes a bit too long to respond to a text message, and suddenly your mind is racing. He's losing interest. What did I do wrong? Should I pull away first? That voice feels like the truth, like a gut instinct warning you, but what if it's not? What if it's just your brain running an old survival program? See, your brain isn't wired for love. It's wired for protection. Your brain's first job isn't to help you find deep intimacy, it's to help you stay alive. In early human history, rejection from the group meant you were left to fend for yourself, which was often a death sentence. So over thousands of years, our nervous systems have evolved to see social rejection as a survival threat. Even though getting ghosted today is not going to kill you, your brain still reacts like it might. Studies show that social rejection triggers the same neural pathways as physical pain. So when your mind spirals into self-doubt, it's not because you're broken, it's because your brain thinks it's keeping you safe. If there's one thing I want to make crystal clear in this video, is that you are a worthy, beautiful, amazing human being despite any attachment wounds you might be facing. But here's the good news. You don't have to stay stuck in that loop. In the same way your brain learned these patterns, it can unlearn them. And today, I'm going to show you how through neuroscience-backed methods. Right now, there are two parts of your brain that are running the show when it comes to relationships and dating. First one is your amygdala, and second one is your default mode network, or DMN for short. And neither of them were designed to help you find love. Your amygdala is your brain's alarm system, always scanning for danger, deciding in a split second if something is safe or threatening. What's the problem? It treats emotional risks like rejection the same way it treats physical danger, like a fire, for example. Then there's the DMN, the part of your brain that replays past pain constantly, trying to predict the future based on old wounds. Instead of helping you stay open to new experiences, it keeps rerunning outdated survival scripts, making you assume that what happened before is bound to happen again. So when you feel yourself overanalyzing, doubting yourself, or preparing for rejection before it even happens, it's not because you're broken or unintelligent. It's because these two systems are hijacking your ability to stay present. Let me explain this in a way that's going to make this easier to remember. Your amygdala is like the fire alarm that goes off for burnt toast. So imagine you're making toast. The bread turns slightly brown and suddenly The fire alarm starts blaring like the house is burning down. Your amygdala is that when it comes to dating. It cannot tell the difference between I sent a text and he hasn't responded yet and I'm about to be abandoned forever. It sees social discomfort as life-threatening and sends you into fight, flight, or freeze when all that's really happened was a normal pause in conversation. Now, your default mode network is similar to a broken GPS that only shows the past. So think of your brain as a GPS, but instead of showing you your current location, it's stuck rerouting you through old, bad neighborhoods you haven't lived in for years. The DMN is the part of your brain that constantly replaces past pain and negative self-beliefs, even when reality looks completely different. So when you meet someone new, it doesn't say, hey, let's explore. It says, last time we did this, we got hurt. Abort mission. And just like that, you're relieving rejection that hasn't even happened yet. The reason I'm taking extra time to explain these concepts and how the brain and nervous system works is because I want to hone in one truth, that you are functioning exactly as nature designed you. But since you want more than survival, you want to get the opportunity to rewire your brain. Now, today, I'm going to be guiding you through 3 separate methods. I hope you can make some notes and also understand that these methods are proven scientifically to work, so you don't have to wing it, so you don't have to rely on white knuckling things, so you can step into life knowing that this has already worked for lots of people. All you have to do is put it into practice. Okay, so let's talk about what happens when your brain decides to go full drama queen on you. 1 second, you're fine, maybe even excited, and then boom, one unanswered text, one slightly different tone in his voice, one shift in his gaze, and your mind takes off like a runaway train. And I do mean runaway, because the second your nervous system detects even a hint of uncertainty, your thoughts start speeding up faster and faster until you're basically in a full-blown emotional turbulence, bracing for impact. But here is the thing. You don't have to ride the train all the way to disaster station. You can pull the emergency brake. And that's exactly what a pattern interrupt does. It tells your brain, hey, we're not doing this today. It snaps you out of the spiral before it gains momentum. And you want to hear the best part? You don't need willpower. You don't need affirmations. You just need to trick your nervous system into calming down. Here's how. First method I'm going to talk about right now is called box breathing. So we're going to outsmart your own biology. Your nervous system is saying something like panic. We're in danger. But your breath, that's the off switch. Box breathing is simple. Breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and hold for 4 seconds. Think of it like resetting your internet's router or your nervous system, like Control-Alt-Delete response. And the science behind it? It stimulates your vagus nerve, which tells your whole body we're safe. No need to fight an imaginary tiger. Let's try it right now. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. See? No tigers in your heart, just calm. Now the second pattern interrupt is called sensation disruption, which is like the instant reset button. So imagine shock therapy, but of the kind that doesn't require a doctor's note. Cold exposure is one of the fastest ways to alarm the brakes on your nervous system because it triggers the mammalian dive reflex, which basically convinces your nervous system to chill immediately. So here's what you do. You splash cold water on your face, press something icy against your neck, or if you're feeling bold, you can stick your whole face in a bowl of cold water with ice cubes for a few seconds. Is it fun? Not really. Does it work? Absolutely, because your body goes, we must be diving into the ocean. Let's lower the heart rate and stop freaking out. And just like that, cortisol levels drop, and suddenly that text he hasn't replied to doesn't feel like an emergency anymore. Now, the third method is what I call the shake it out, the animal kingdom knows best method. And basically, we're going to take some wisdom from virtually every other mammal on Earth. Have you ever seen a dog shake itself off after getting startled? That's because animals do not store stress in their bodies the way humans do. They discharge it almost immediately. So instead of sitting in tension and letting stress lock into your body like a bad massage, do what a gazelle does after escaping a lion. Shake it out. Stand up, shake your arms, your legs, your entire body for 10 seconds. Yeah, you're gonna feel pretty ridiculous. But you know what's more ridiculous? Letting one minor social interaction send you into an existential crisis for the next 48 hours. So think about this. Your brain is trainable. The best part about these pattern interrupts is that they work instantly. There are no mindset shifts required, no journaling, no talking yourself out of the social spiral, just physically resetting your nervous system before your brain takes you on another unnecessary roller coaster ride. Next time your thoughts start racing towards doom, remember, you don't have to ride that train. You have the emergency brake, so use. Now, before I share my last two methods, if you're a single woman watching this, I would be willing to bet you're not fully aware of the root cause beyond this voice why you're still single. So what I've done is I've taken 13 years of helping women find love in virtually every kind of love challenge you can imagine, and I've put together a quiz you can take in about 60 seconds that will reveal to you the answer to the question, why am I still single? And if you want to participate, all you have to do is go to the first link in the description. You'll find a page that looks like this. Answer a few basic questions, and within 60 seconds, you can have two things. An answer to the elusive question, why you're still single, and a custom report based on your specific blind spot that will share what is the number one action you can take starting today to attract the relationship you want in a fraction of the time. Now, method number 2 is called naming your inner critic, or the name it to tame it method. So you know that voice in your head, the one that basically is a full-time heckler in the audience of your love life, the one that loves to pop up the second you start feeling excited about someone. It sounds like it's trying to help, but that's, if you're really honest, it's a terrible coach. It's never saying, hey, you're amazing, you're beautiful. No, it's saying you're probably being too much, or he's absolutely losing interest, or why did you say that, or you sounded desperate. That voice is not you. It's a collection of old fears, past rejections, and outdated survival strategies your brain has decided to keep on autoplay to help you stay alive. And if you don't call it out, it will run your love life on hard mode. The science behind naming it is neuroscientist Dr. Matthew Lieberman did fMRI research that found that naming an emotion reduces activity in the amygdala, your brain's panic button, which means you go from the emotional overdrive to actual clarity. It's like hitting the mute button on an overdramatic TV commentator. So when that voice starts spiraling, the trick is simple. Give it a name. You wouldn't take relationship advice from Karen who thinks every man is a walking red flag. So why are you letting anxious Anna or doubtful Diane run your love life? Maybe it's overanalyzing Olivia, who assumes every lame texting means a rejection, or cautious Claire, who tells you not to get excited about a guy because men always disappoint you. Doomsday Debbie, who thinks if the first 5 minutes of a date aren't filled with fireworks and explosions of the heart, then it's already over. Because here's the real game changer. Once you call it out, you replace it with something better. And no, not with toxic positivity. You don't just say, I'm a radiant goddess and everyone loves me. You use a real, logical reframe that actually shifts your thinking. So for example, if my best friend had this thought, what would I tell her? That thought instantly puts you in a compassionate, rational mindset, forces you to step outside your fear and into the truth. Or what is the kindest, most empowering way I could see this? Your brain's already telling you a story. Why not make it one that actually helps you? Or instead of he's losing interest, try maybe he's just busy. And even if he wasn't, my worth isn't tied to his attention. If I knew for a fact that love was coming, how would I think about this differently? This question interrupts scarcity thinking and help you act from confidence, not fear. Your inner critic only has as much power as you give it. Once you call it out, reframe it, and replace it with truth, you start making decisions like a woman who knows she's worthy of love, not like someone who's hoping for permission to start believing it. Now, the third method is DBT, which is the bridge that keeps you from getting swept away. Now, most advice about managing emotion tell you to stay calm or think positive. But if you've ever been in the middle of a full-blown emotional spiral, you know it's not that simple. That's where dialectical behavioral therapy, or DBT for short, comes in. DBT is an evidence-based approach designed to help people regulate overwhelming emotions in real time. The core idea of DBT is holding two things at once. You can acknowledge your emotions without letting them control you. And the way to do that, creating space between your reactions and your response, which is exactly what we're about to do. Now imagine you're standing at the edge of a fast-moving river. The water looks calm at first, but the moment you step in, the current grabs your legs and pulls you under. You're struggling to keep your head above water, grasping for air, completely at the mercy of the flow. This is what happens when emotions take over. One moment, you are fine. And the next, you're spiraling. An unanswered text turns into proof that you'll always be alone. A casual date suddenly feels like you're in a test that you're failing. A simple moment of uncertainty feels unbearable. Now imagine that same river, but this time there's a sturdy bridge. The water is still moving strongly below, but instead of being pulled under, you have solid ground beneath your feet. You can pause. You can take a breath and decide your next step with clarity instead of panic. And that bridge, that's what DBT gives you. It doesn't erase emotions or stop you from feeling, but it gives you the tools to stay grounded while the emotions pass through. So I'm going to share with you some DBT-based self-regulation questions that will help when emotions hijack your thinking. Your nervous system jumps into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Your amygdala floods your body with stress signals, and your brain starts replaying all fears, making it nearly impossible to see the situation for what it is. Now, instead of just telling your brain to calm down, use these DBT-based questions to regulate in the moment. Question number 1, what would a natural observer say it's happening right now? This forces you to step outside of fear and into objectivity. It slows down the panic and allows your logical brain to catch up. Instead of he's losing interest, you might realize he's just taking his time to respond. Question number 2, what response will make me proud of myself tomorrow? This question is going to disrupt impulsive reactions and creates the space between the feeling and the action. Instead of sending a panicked follow-up text, you might choose to focus on your own plans and let things unfold naturally. Third question, am I reacting to what's happening now or something from my past? This question is like flipping the lights on in a dark room. Is this about this person, this moment, or is it an old wound that's replaying itself? Okay, so far here's what we've covered. Because if you just take one thing from this video, let it be this. Your brain isn't broken, but some of its wiring, it's outdated. The voice in your head, the one making you overanalyze texts, assume the worst, or brace for rejection before it even happens, that's the law of saboteur, not your intuition. Just an old survival pattern convincing you that love is a threat. But here's the good news. Using what I shared with you today, you can retrain your nervous system and brain to stop running old scripts. We talked about naming your critic so it stops blending in it with truth. We talked about pulling that brake on that runaway train, and we broke down some DBT questions you can ask to stay grounded instead of getting swept up in fear, because love isn't supposed to feel like you're failing a test. The moment you start calming your nervous system instead of chasing certainty, everything shifts. Now, if you find this is helpful, useful, and insightful, it would mean the world to me and to my channel, because this is the only way I can reach more women and grow. If you can please click like and subscribe, send this to someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to continue learning how you can attract the relationship you want without the need for gimmicks, manipulation, games, or stupid techniques, make sure to watch the next video right here.